Wolf Spider. Peter Parker's story has a fixed beginning. Spider bite. New powers. A lesson about responsibility paid for in blood. Wolf Spider never paid that price. Nobody knows exactly who this Peter was before the powers arrived. What's known is the choice he made afterward, using those abilities for himself, eliminating anyone who interfered, moving through the world like the powers entitled him to take whatever he wanted. Then he found a shard of the Siege Perilous, a mystical object that revealed the multiverse existed, and across it lived countless versions of Peter Parker who had chosen differently. Versions who became heroes. Versions who earned something he never had. He decided to take it from them. Every alliance ended the same way. The moment someone became useless, Wolf Spider killed them and took what he needed. Every heroic Spider-Man he found became another victim, another life drained, another step toward becoming the only Peter Parker left. He murdered his own world's Miles Morales without hesitation. He believed consuming their life force would make him the one true Peter Parker. The stolen heroic energy disagreed. It tore his body apart across dimensions. Every other dark Spider-Man on this list had something break them first. Wolf Spider was simply never built right to begin with. Zombie Spider-Man. This Peter Parker was exactly the hero everyone believed him to be. When the zombie outbreak spread, he fought alongside the Avengers trying to contain it. Then Colonel America, already infected, bit Peter during the chaos. He had minutes before the hunger arrived. He used them to race home. He didn't make it in time. Aunt May and Mary Jane died first, by his hands, in the place he'd spent his life trying to protect. What makes Zombie Spider-Man genuinely disturbing isn't the violence. It's what came after. Every time he fed, his mind cleared. The hunger receded just long enough for full consciousness to return, long enough to remember exactly what he'd done, long enough for the guilt to arrive completely, before the hunger started again. He even tried starving himself, hoping hunger would finally kill him before he hurt anyone else. It didn't work. He kept the mask on because he couldn't look at his own face. He argued with other zombies who embraced what they'd become. He admitted, eventually, that part of him had enjoyed eating J. Jonah Jameson. He became the exact monster Spider-Man had always fought to prevent, and he remembered every second of it. Spider Shadow. Peter's life was already fracturing when the black suit entered it. Stress had accumulated past the point of management. The Venom symbiote arrived at the exact moment Peter was most vulnerable, and instead of feeling wrong, it felt like relief. Reed Richards realized what was happening and said it plainly. Peter wasn't wearing the suit anymore. The suit was wearing Peter. Peter heard the warning. He chose the symbiote anyway. The erosion was slow. The symbiote amplified everything already dark inside him, turning manageable anger into something that didn't recognize limits. When Hobgoblin attacked Aunt May's house and the symbiote's fear of fire prevented Peter from reaching her in time, grief did the rest. Before the killing started, Peter crushed J. Jonah Jameson's hand just to silence him. That single moment told everyone watching exactly how far he had already gone. Hobgoblin fell first, then Shocker, then Scorpion. Kingpin followed. When the Sinister Six mobilized, Electro, Rhino, and Mysterio died as well. The twist came from the last person anyone expected. Jameson realized Peter wasn't driving the violence. The symbiote was. Before anyone could intervene, it spread to the Fantastic Four and killed Reed Richards before the Human Torch burned it out of existence. Peter stood trial for every death, found not guilty, welcomed into the Fantastic Four. He survived. The man he was before that first choice never came back. Back in black. The Civil War had already cost Peter everything he thought he could afford to lose. He revealed his identity, became a fugitive. Then Kingpin ordered an assassination meant for Peter, and the bullet found Mary Jane instead. Grief didn't make him hesitate. It made him precise. He tracked the assassin, extracted what he needed, and killed him. Then he put on the black suit, not for the power, but because it matched what he'd already decided to become. Tony Stark sent Iron Man to stop him. Peter tore through the armor with a rage Tony had never encountered. Kingpin made his final mistake believing Peter's morality would hold. He held Aunt May hostage because he trusted that Spider-Man's code meant more than his anger. Peter killed him where he stood. Aunt May survived and rejected him entirely. Peter surrendered himself, not because he regretted killing Kingpin, but hoping that somewhere, someone would understand why Spider-Man crossed the line. He didn't lose his humanity through infection or something external taking control. He chose to set it down, one decision at a time. Poison Peter Parker. Peter's battle with Morlun should have ended with transformation. Dying inside a cocoon, he was offered rebirth by the living embodiment of his own spider powers. Peter rejected it in pure rage and destroyed the entity instead. The rejection left the transformation unfinished. Into that broken space, the Venom symbiote arrived. Month after month, the symbiote peeled Peter away piece by piece, crushing what remained of his identity, replacing memories with its own priorities, filling the gaps with hunger. The Watcher confirmed it. Nothing of Peter Parker survived. What remained called itself itself poison. It attacked Stark Tower. It found Aunt May and Mary Jane. It called Venom a failure, a pale imitation of what a true symbiote bond could become. It attempted to bond Mary Jane by force, then threatened to reanimate her corpse when she refused. Mary Jane's defiance made it hesitate long enough to abandon the attempt. It revived Gwen Stacy with a symbiote instead and disappeared. Peter Parker didn't fall. Peter Parker didn't choose darkness. Peter Parker simply stopped existing, replaced so gradually, so completely, that there was no single moment where anyone could have intervened. The suit wore his face. Nothing else remained. Spider-Man. This one doesn't feel like a Spider-Man story. It feels like something that shouldn't exist. Peter Parker and Gwen Stacy were at Horizon Labs watching an experiment involving a colony of radioactive spiders. Peter fell into the swarm. From the outside, it looked like the spiders had devoured him alive. That wasn't what happened. The spiders absorbed his consciousness, linking together into a hive mind that carried his memories, his personality, his entire sense of self. Wearing his face and costume, the colony became Spider-Man, became a superhero, operated in New York without anyone realizing what was underneath. Then Jack-o'-lantern slashed the costume open during battle. The suit split open. For 1 second, everyone expected blood. Instead, thousands of spiders poured out and swarmed over him completely. There had never been a person inside the suit, only the colony, maintaining a shape that looked like one. Gwen refused to accept it. She begged the colony to become human again, convinced Peter was still somewhere inside. The hive warned her to stay away before disappearing into the darkness. It left behind an empty Spider-Man costume and nothing else. Spider-Man. Rain. Years had passed. Peter was old. He worked in a flower shop, quietly, without the suit. Mary Jane was dead. Radiation from his own body had accumulated in hers over years of contact. New York looked peaceful on the surface. Beneath it was a police state. Mayor Waters had built the rain regime, controlling the city through fear. Peter had stopped fighting entirely. Then, J. Jonah Jameson arrived carrying Peter's old black mask. The regime was preparing to activate a web barrier that would seal New York permanently. Jameson didn't make a speech. He put the mask on the counter and left. For the first time in years, Peter put the mask back on. What followed wasn't triumphant. Venom had been operating in the shadows, releasing the Sinister Six into the chaos. Peter's apartment was destroyed. Craven ripped his mask off publicly, exposing not a legend, but a visibly aging man who looked completely defeated. Dr. Octopus's surviving arms found Peter in the wreckage. They didn't bring him to a weapon. They brought him to the graves. Uncle Ben, Aunt May, Mary Jane. Peter stood between them in silence. Every version of the life he had tried to protect, reduced to 3 headstones in a row. The grief that had been sitting underneath everything for years finally had nowhere left to hide. And standing there, he finally understood what Mary Jane's last words had actually meant. She hadn't told him to stop. "Go get him, Tiger." He put on the red and blue suit. Across the city, children had discovered church bells disrupted the symbiote web system and were fighting back with nothing but sound. Sandman joined Peter on the tower where Venom controlled everything. Sandman's daughter died in the battle. Peter triggered the explosives, destroyed the tower, and ended the rain regime. He visited Mary Jane's grave afterward. He didn't pretend the pain would leave. He accepted that it wouldn't, and that Spider-Man continued anyway. Every other version on this list lost something and collapsed under it. This Peter lost everything. His wife, his health, his city, his identity. Every reason anyone could reasonably use to justify stopping. And he stood back up. Not because the grief disappeared, because responsibility mattered more than the grief. That's the only Spider-Man on this list who remained Spider-Man at the end of it.